The following video will assist teachers in understanding the 5th grade mathematics standard NBT6, which reads that students will be able to fluently divide up to 4-digit dividends and 2-digit divisors by using at least one of the following methods: strategies based on place value, the properties of operations, and the relationship between multiplication and division. Students should also be able to illustrate and explain the calculation by using equations or concrete models. For example, rectangular arrays and area models. In this standard, students will be dividing up to 4-digit dividends by 2-digit divisors. They use strategies such as expanded notation, relating division to multiplication, and estimation to find the quotient. Although this standard sounds as though it is all about computation, it's really much more than that. Students not only have to be able to choose a strategy to solve a division problem, they also have to be able to write out their computations and explain why they work. In 4th grade, students divided up to 4-digit dividends with 1-digit divisors. They used strategies such as area models and partial quotients to divide. They solved division problems with and without remainders. Students should not have been taught the standard long division algorithm in grade 4. If this is the case, you might consider having vertical progression conversations with teachers in your building. The reason we delay teaching of the standard algorithm is because we really want students to attend to place value and properties of operations and use number sense at this stage of their learning. The standard algorithm does not allow for this to happen. I highly recommend that you watch the 4th grade NBT6 video. This video nicely delineates all of the concrete, pictorial, and abstract division strategies stressed in 4th grade. Then, later in 5th grade, students will divide decimals using the same strategies that they'll use for whole number division. It's important for teachers and their students to be clear about the learning intentions for NBT6. To go into more depth about the learning intentions and key vocabulary, go to the 5th grade Georgia Standard of Excellence Curriculum Framework, Unit 1. Please take a moment now to pause this video to consider the essential questions, language objectives, and key vocabulary for this standard. There are various strategies students can use to become fluent with multi-digit division. The area model strategy for division. Models and manipulative materials can help make multiplication and division with integers more concrete. They provide a visual representation of the algorithms we use to perform these operations and help us to see how the algorithms relate to what is actually happening with the manipulatives. Students should have already used area models in 4th grade to divide 4-digit dividends by 1-digit divisors. Since we know the length of one side is 33, we'll look at the 33 multiplied by the powers of 10 to get as close to the dividend 6,963 as possible. Students should notice that 33 times 1,000 is too large, but 33 times 100 will work. Students will section off a part of their area model. We're just breaking up our area model into smaller pieces of the whole. Notice that this also models the partial quotient strategy students will be working with. The sum of these partial quotients is the answer. Adrienne will show us the partial quotient strategy. She starts by listing things she knows about the divisor 14. She's multiplying 14 by powers of 10 until she finds a product close to the dividend. When she finds this number, she'll list the partial quotient to the side and subtract that product from the dividend. She'll continue with her partial quotients until she can no longer divide it into the remaining dividend. To find the total quotient, she'll add all the partial quotients at the side. Well done, Adrienne. Max is going to show us the strategy of expanded notation. He starts by writing the dividend in expanded form. The idea is that he is going to then take each one of these parts and divide it by 25. At the side, he's creating a work area where he's writing things that he knows about the number 25. This will not only help him with his calculations, it'll also possibly help him see connections between the numbers that he's working with. He's adding a plus sign between the 80 and the 16 and eventually the 2 to help him remember that he's going to be adding these partial quotients together to get his solution. I've paused the video to point out a mistake that was made. Max has accidentally placed the dividend 2 in the wrong position. Also, he's listed the wrong divisor. He should have written 2 divided by 25. Although he's shown that he understood what the answer should be, 0 with a remainder of 2, we'll still have to clear up this misunderstanding. As I continued the video, I noticed that he got the answer correct, 98 with a remainder of 2. Well done, Max. The estimation strategy for division. This strategy works well if the dividend and the divisor are close to a landmark number, or a number that makes math simpler because it's easy to calculate with, like the number 10. In the above problem, the landmark numbers would be 50 and 3,000. Some of our elementary students find estimation confusing, but really need to be taught how it can help them solve problems. It is definitely a higher level skill. So first, students will start by rounding the divisor and the dividend. They should begin to estimate the amount of times 50 can be divided into 3,000. We may even guide them to look for a connection between the numbers. After reasoning about the estimated numbers, students will use the quotient that worked in the estimated number on the original problem. They'll check to see if 60 times 48 will work in the original problem. If the product they get is less than 3,013, they can use it as a partial quotient. If the product they get is greater than 3,013, they'll reason that 60 is too much and use a quotient smaller than 60. Have the students keep a running record of the partial quotients to the side as they work out the problem, which they will add together in the end to get the final quotient. The Georgia Mathematics Frameworks contain several great lessons for this standard. In the lesson, The Grass is Always Greener, students will solve a real-world problem using multiplication, division, and area. Division 4 in a row is a game in which students practice dividing numbers up to 4 digits by 1 and 2-digit numbers. Are these all 364 divided by 15? Is an impactful lesson where students analyze story problems that demonstrate 3 different division situations. Finally, Graham Fletcher has come up with an engaging 3-act task. It's called Tomato Tomato. One online tool you can use for NBT 6 is located on conceptualmath.com. It has an interactive open array division tool with a tutorial to show you how to use it. A similar tool called Rectangle Division can be found on the National Library of Virtual Manipulatives site. Dreambox.com has an interactive game called Bag-O-Matic, where students choose partial quotients to solve division problems. I just love this gumball Bag-O-Matic game from Dreambox. I will tell you, for the sake of time, I'll be removing as much of the computer sound as possible, and I'll be skipping past certain things so that you can see portions of what the students will encounter when they use this program. The students are given an equation at the top, and they will click on the blue bag right below that equation. So in this game, students are able to come up with 5 smaller equations to help them solve the problem at the top. After I chose the blue bag, it opened up boxes that I can fill in, and I chose to put in 7,000 divided by 70 equals 100. The machine moved to show me how many bags of 70 I have already filled and how many gumballs I have left over to put into bags. Several assessment resources can be found in the Georgia Mathematics Teacher Wiki forums. See the appendix if you need assistance finding these resources. The New Zealand Math website offers some reteach and reinforce activities. Multiplication Smorgasbord is an activity that involves students solving word problems, requiring them to use a combination of addition, subtraction, multiplication, and division mental strategies. In the activity Cut and Paste, students must solve division problems by using proportional adjustment. For assessment resources, go to GeorgiaStandards.Org to access the Georgia Mathematics Teacher Wiki forums. To select Mathematics, Elementary School. This will take you to the Georgia K-5 Mathematics Support Wiki site. Scroll down, and on the right side you'll see Assessment Resources. Choose K-5 Formative Assessment Lessons. Scroll down once again to 5th grade and select the download under Unit 1. This will open the Division and Interpreting Remainders formative assessment.